Okay, now for one of the highlights, the annual highlights of Brainstorm Green, which is Great Green Ideas. This is a real competition of real entrepreneurs presenting in front of real live venture capitalists. Each entrepreneur will have 5 minutes to present their case, and only 5 minutes. A loud buzzer will sound at the end of that 5 minutes, and I will hover to make sure that the entrepreneur knows that their time is up. After that, our judges will have a brief conversation about that, and when that's over, we will rely on you in the audience to vote. I'll be putting up instructions on how to text your choice of the best, the greatest green idea, and we'll crown the winner of Great Green Ideas for 2014. Now, please welcome our judges, Dheeraj Malkani, a partner with Rockport Capital, and Nancy Fund, founder and managing partner of DBL Investors. Next up is Anna Rath, founder and CEO of NexSteppe.
Hi, good morning. Thanks very much for the opportunity to be here. There we go. So NexSteppe is a 3-year-old venture-backed company, and the idea behind the company was that you have this emerging and maturing set of industries around the world: biofuels, biopower, bio-based products. They've all gotten started using either some sort of existing crop or some waste or residue, and that's great. That's a fantastic way for them to start. But they're not going to get to anything like the level of scale and the level of sustainability that we would all like for them to achieve without a set of crops, feedstocks, that were designed for this purpose. So NexSteppe is in the business of developing and selling the seed for the crops that are the feedstocks for biofuels, biopower, and bio-based products. This last year, 2013, we launched our first 2 product lines. The first is our Malibu Sweet Sorghums. This is a readily available source of fermentable sugars that can be turned into your choice of advanced biofuels or bio-based products. The other is our Palo Alto High Biomass Sorghum, which produces a low-cost lignocellulosic biomass, which today is being used primarily for power, but eventually will obviously be a compelling feedstock for second-generation or cellulosic biofuels as well. This is what our Palo Alto biomass sorghums look like. They look like this in about 120 days. They've been bred to be not only high yielding, but also very low moisture at harvest, both to reduce harvest and transport costs and also to allow them to be drop-in to biomass boilers without requiring additional drying. First market for these is in Brazil, where biomass is a commonly used feedstock for industrial power. There's already about 10 gigawatts installed. Rising energy demand has caused biomass shortages. The traditional form of biomass was the leftover bagasse from sugar cane. So especially as more and more of the sugar to ethanol mills have been connecting to the grid, selling renewable electricity, need for additional feedstock has been created. This is particularly an issue this year because you may or may not be aware, there was a massive drought in Brazil. Brazil gets more than 80% of its electricity from hydro. When that happens and you have a big drought, it results in an electricity shortage. So spot prices have more than quintupled. Consumer prices are going up this month anywhere from 11 to 20% depending on where you live, which creates pretty good demand for us. Our second product line, our Malibu Sweet Sorghums, think of this as sugar cane that comes from a seed, can be grown anywhere in the world and needs about half the water. So just like cane, you crush it, you get your juice with your fermentable sugar, turn it into whatever you want. First market, again, in Brazil. So the way cane works in Brazil, you plant it, you harvest at the end of a year, it grows back, it does that for 5 years, and then you have 6 months where the land either sits fallow or you grow a low-value crop before you plant your next cane. You can grow sweet sorghum during that time and start harvesting in February, March, and early April, when ordinarily the sugar to ethanol mills wouldn't be running because you can only harvest cane from April to November. Why did we pick sorghum? We didn't start out to be a sorghum company. We started out to be a feedstock company. Got to think about this from 3 perspectives. For the grower, nice high yields, first-year yields, and it's a known crop. There are established agronomic practices, registered crop protection products. For the process developer, it can go anywhere in the world. It can go onto more marginal land, which means it turns out to be cheaper, very fast scale-up, drop-in from multiple processes. For us, massive diversity, which means lots of potential for improvement, very rapid breeding and product development cycle. It's a hybrid, which means I can send my seed anywhere in the world without worries about theft of my intellectual property. And it comes from a seed, which means I can put it in a bag, I can store it, I can move it around the world. This is what we look like today. Headquarters in South San Francisco, subsidiaries in Brazil and Singapore, research stations, US and Brazil, seed production, US and Bolivia. The Blue Stars in the US were our 2013 trials. Blue Stars in Brazil were our 2013-14 season trials and sales. Funny thing happened while we were busy building the business in the US and Brazil, which is people started finding us from all over the world. So we now have trials going with potential commercial partners in 14 countries on 5 continents and discussions in many more. And now the pretty pictures. So it is real, bags of seed, sold more than 2,500 acres in Brazil this year. This is what it looked like in Texas last year. This is what it looked like in Brazil this year. This is our field day showing it can be harvested with traditional equipment. That truck will go directly to a boiler that biomass will be used in. Commercial harvest by one of our customers, harvesting 100 hectares. You can see from the forage chopper into the wagon, from the wagon into the truck, and the truck train going off to the biomass boiler. So that's it.
Fantastic, thank you. Nancy, please.
Well, kudos for addressing a really important problem in terms of the whole feedstock issue and not taking food crops and creating tensions by using them for energy. So this is a real issue that I love the way that you're just taking a very common sense approach to it. What I really want you to focus on going forward, and I'm sure you are, is it's good to have far-flung trials, and that's, you have to start somewhere. But I'd really like to hear how you are going to. A lot of people abandon trials, or if the end of the pipeline is broken in terms of some of these products never getting to market because of just the problems in biofuels and biochemicals, you're going to be at the receiving end of that. And so maybe just focusing on how to get beyond the trials that you've worked so hard to get to and survive in an industry that's a little bit underperforming.
Do I have 5 seconds? Okay,
Quickly,
so I'll
please,
just say a lot of what we're starting with are situations where we drop into existing infrastructure, right? Biomass boilers all around the world, the sugar to ethanol mills in Brazil. And so while we are absolutely anxious for cellulosic biofuels and bio-based products to get there commercially and be a good demand source for us, we easily get to cash flow break even on existing infrastructure in Brazil alone, and all the rest of it for us is upside.
D-Raj.
Congratulations. It's great to see the progress you've made. I love the marketing person that you have choosing the names Palo Alto and Malibu. I had no idea there was other valuable things coming out of Palo Alto.
Well, it turns out in Spanish and Portuguese, Palo Alto translates as tall stick, which is exactly what we wanted our high biomass sorghums to be, so thus the name.
Anna, real quickly from me, could you just tell everybody who your venture investors are?
Yeah, Braemar Energy Ventures led our Series B, and then DuPont also came in as a strategic investor.
Wonderful. Anna Rath of NexSteppe, thank you. And the winner of the competition is NexSteppe. Congratulations. Okay, and congratulations to the winner and to everyone who shared your company's dreams with us today.